Alright, I want to talk some nuance with y'all today, but in the right person, this can be very significant nuance. So last week we talked about when you have pain in the back of your hip, and it has to do with the piriformis muscle, and that discussion looked like this. Alright, and today we're talking obturator internus, which is also in the back of the hip. So I want you to look at how close these are in the back of the hip. I love my anatomy book. Alright, so here's piriformis, this one right here. Okay, here's obturator internus, this one right here. They are super close together in the back of your hip. Piriformis is slightly higher, obturator internus is slightly lower. So if we're in the back of your hip, piriformis comes off the inside front of your tailbone and then comes out to the top of your femur. Obturator internus comes from the back of this wing part right behind your sit bone on your pelvis and then comes out to your femur. And because they're both running across the back of your hip, when they shorten and contract, they are making those points of contact closer together, and that creates external rotation, outward rotation of the hip. Okay, so because these muscles are on the back of your hip, when they do their job and they contract and shorten, they roll your femur outward. Let me make sure his face is facing straight ahead so you can orient. Okay, so he's facing straight ahead. When these muscles contract, they roll the femur outward, away from midline. Okay, so that's how you shorten them. But if they're too tight and they're causing pain in the back of your hip, then we want to lengthen them by going the opposite direction. So that's rolling inward. So he's going to turn around now. All right, as you lengthen those muscles by rolling inward, you're gapping and creating a space here along the back of the hip. The place where it gets confusing is because of where the piriformis attaches on the top of the femur. Once your hip gets beyond about 60 degrees of flexion, now you stretch piriformis into external rotation. Okay, so if your issue is obturator internus, the muscle that sits a little bit lower, you will get better results in lengthening those muscles by practicing internal rotation, like we talk about in today's reel. If your issue is piriformis, you will get better length in your piriformis by doing exercises where you're bringing your foot into external rotation. So that's going to be putting your foot across your lap, hugging your leg up towards you, doing a half pigeon, or going back this way, or sitting in side sitting and working into external rotation. That will address piriformis, the muscle that is a little bit higher, better, but it might irritate obturator internus. So that is an important distinction. Which one are we addressing? And if one direction makes your symptoms worse, go the other direction, because you're probably trying to address the wrong muscle, and those directions get confused a lot.